Hello.
Morning.
Second to join. How are you, Mads?
All good here, and you?
Yeah, not too bad, thank you. Morning.
Brilliant. Excited for this one.
Like that. Yeah, please do feel free to use the chat, everyone, as you're coming in. It's nice to see who's joining.
Morning, Karen and Kevin. All right, it's really off we go.
Okay. Well, welcome back to Bitesize, everyone. Today we are looking at the property listing workflow from onboarding to approval. And we've got a jam-packed session today, so I'm not going to hold us up too long here. We're looking at how Keyflow and Thirdfort work together now in Alto and what this process looks like. So I'm Emma, and I'm a senior education expert here at Alto, and I'm joined by Madeline, who's one of our Alto software trainers. So as you can see, we've moved over to Goldcast. It's very, very similar to Zoom. So hopefully you'll be able to find where everything is, how everything works. You should see all the lovely messages that are coming through from a lot of people this morning saying good morning. That's your chat. So you can see there's an enter message section there. Please do get involved, ask questions as you go, give us your thoughts as we go. We read through everything as we go, but also at the end as well. So we'll be reviewing everything. We've got a whole team of experts this time backstage that are going to be answering questions as we go through this too. So add as many questions as you can, anything that's on your mind, get it out there. And at the end of the webinar, there is some dedicated Q&A time that if we haven't answered anything, we'll cover it then. Anything that we don't have time for, we will answer after the webinar. So all your questions will be answered at some point. So today we are having a look at, first of all, a demo for owner and buyer ID checks in Alto, in Keyflow. Then we've got a guest demo. We've got Rob from Thirdfort, who's going to be giving you a special demo there as well. We're then looking at the overview of the new e-sign process. And then we're going to do a little bit of a walkthrough of the updated owner questionnaire as well. And then at the end, we've got some Q&A time. And if you stay on, you can also get a chance to enter into our competition as well. So it's worth staying till the end if you can. So you asked for a more streamlined way to handle onboarding and compliance, which is what we're having a look at here. That's what we've built. The new setups, everything is embedded within your existing process. But this session is all about improving the onboarding experience really for you when you're adding customers, and as you go. So by the end of the session, you'll understand how Keyflow manages onboarding and e-signing and tracking, how Thirdfort handles ID, AML and source of fund checks, and how the two connect together to create a faster, compliant and fully integrated experience. So we're going to kick straight off with a demo, and I'm going to hand over to Mads here on the call to do that for you. So let me stop sharing for you, Mads.
Thank you very much. And let me get into it. So I'm going to run this demo for you. I'm going to run the first part of the owner ID checks from the Alto side, and then I'll be passing over to Rob, who's going to come in and he's going to show you what the customer journey looks like as well from the Thirdfort view. So I'm going in from the view of your owner, and I'm going to show you from your buyer as well. So going in here, you'll be going into your buyer's record or your owner's record, and we've got here, order your verification checks. Okay, so for clicking in here, and you would need to associate it to a relevant property that you're doing, that you have on here for these checks. And I'm just going to find my property. It's gone. There it is. Okay. I've already pre-done these as well, so I can show you exactly what it looks like within the Alto workflow as well. But if we go in here, you can see that Thirdfort can actually cover your ID, AML, and proof of ownership checks. With the buyer, I'll show you in a sec, it will also associate that you can check like their source of funds. So you've got the option that you can choose between ID, AML, and proof of ownership, or you can do ID and AML. Source of funds can be a standalone check as well, but we'll see here that we've got Sarah, who's my vendor, that we can go through and do these checks. What we'll do is we'll send that off, and then they're going to get a notification from Keyflow for them to either register for Keyflow, or if they've already got a Keyflow account, they'll just get an update to say they've got a task. If it was multiple owners as well, so a first and second, then they would actually be able to do both at the same time simultaneously. So I've already prepared this one earlier, as to speak. So you'll see if I go into in here, they would obviously, if they're brand new to Alto, let me just come into the right email. If they were new, they would ask them to go into their Keyflow account, to log in, and then obviously follow the task that they have set there. Once they're in that Keyflow, they'll see here that they've got the start the verification checks, okay? And it will take them through to here where they need to download the app. Going into the other view, if I was going into a buyer, I'd be able to go in and do exactly the same. So I've got my buyer here, who's Morgan. Go in and do her checks, and I'd associate the property that she's looking to buy. Okay. Oh. Bring this one up. Okay. And then we can do exactly the same. If this is a really good thing to highlight as well, you need to ensure that you've got a valid phone number as well. So if the phone number isn't valid, it's going to come up with this red alert to say, obviously, the following information requires to perform this task. And again, I can go in and you can check which one, you can select the same for everyone, or you can break it down. Just to highlight as well, source of funds can be a standalone check that can be done. Before I pass over to Rob, what I'm going to do is just show you as well in regards to when those checks come back in, where you can find that they've been done. But if I go into the property record, first of all, because this is where we're kind of showing you this property workflow now, starting from the point of verification checks, taking you right the way through to the sort of sales progression side of it. So if I go into here, you're going to see this page that you've probably seen already that is going through kind of like a workflow that you've got. So I'm just going to scroll down because that's the bit I've done. So you'll see on here that these are the checks that you've actually already requested as well. Okay. You can also check on these. So if we go into the notifications and under the client activity, I'll be able to go in here, and if I just select my ID checks and apply, I can see these are the checks that are all done. So I can see here that they're pending from the client, and can see the date that I've actually sent them over to them as well. I think what I'll do now is I'll hand over to Rob from Thirdfort, who's actually going to share with us the customer side of the journey, so what they see on their side when they get that notification to set up. So I'm just going to stop sharing and let Rob share.
Awesome. Thank you, Madeline. Good morning, everyone. Real privilege to be part of a bite-sized session. So yeah, really excited to show everybody the customer journey now, once we set the check up as we just ran through. So I'm just going to start sharing my screen, and hopefully that will come through nice and simply and clearly, importantly, on your side. So as Madeline said, the client will then be basically doing their journey for you, their verification with us via our dedicated app. Now that, it's been downloaded and used millions of times. It's on both the Google and the Apple app stores. When they get there, they'll see it's got thousands of really high quality reviews, 4.5 stars. I think it's averaging out at over thousands of reviews. So they know they're in a safe place, and they know they're going to have a really easy journey to do here. Now, what I will quickly say is there's going to be a bit of a whistle-stop tour here of this product and the client journey, and also the output this gives you back. But us at Thirdfort, and obviously our colleagues and friends over at Alto, would love to do a proper demo for anyone who wants to dig into this separately, one-to-one later on. So just let us know if that's something you would like to do. But I'm a customer, so I'm a purchaser in this example, but also for the owner journey, it will look exactly the same, just the wording will obviously be slightly different to reflect the ask and the task you set them up to do. But the actual core of it is going to be exactly the same. So as a purchaser, all I have to do, come in here, and I'm going to have this dedicated task list of everything that has been set up when you initiated this on them with those options that Madeline showed us. Now, the first thing they're going to do is some basic bits of verification and information. I'm just going to skim through this actually because it's quite basic. But what this is quite valuable for is this is getting you their full name and their date of birth. Some basic info, but it's one less thing you have to worry about getting and verifying yourselves if you're using Thirdfort for the ID verification. On top of that, we're going to gather their home address for you, and we're going to run an Experian, what's called a 2+2, so an AML sort of screening check on their home address to make sure they reside there. So again, remove the need for you to have to do that separately yourselves. But the most important bit is the ID verification. So I'm going to spend a little bit more time on this, and hopefully, as you can see already, it's a really simple system to use. We use really clear kind of human language to help clients understand what we need to do here. And all they're going to do here is verify their ID. Sounds really simple, takes a big kind of compliance burden and tick box and piece of work away from you and your teams. And the example we're going to see today is them doing this via a passport and actually the highest level of ID verification possible out there. So they're going to scan in their ID. Important to note also here, we're doing quality control on this to make sure they give you a usable copy of ID. If it's too blurry, like in the actual photo here, or if there's glare on the screen or something, we'll actually pop up, give them that feedback to make sure they do it properly and give you something usable that we can validate for you. And then there's an extra step with this enhanced check we're going to be doing, which is kind of the gold standard of ID verification technology. So this is actually going to validate the microchip in somebody's passport. Basically, it's the same tech that airports use at passport control. So it's the highest level of ID verification in the market. It's incredibly simple for a client to do. So all they had to do there to see what you just saw on the screen was hold their smartphone up to their passport for a few seconds, and we've extracted and validated the information in the microchip there for that highest level of ID verification possible. And then finally, we're going to confirm they're using their own ID. Obviously, a really important step too, and something else you don't have to do when you're using Thirdfort. So it's going to look a bit sci-fi, but all this is doing is it's just doing a really high quality biometric facial recognition check, and just as importantly nowadays, what we call a liveness test. So a liveness test is checking that that face we just saw there was a real human in front of the camera live. It wasn't a photograph of somebody else, or maybe more 2025 AI. It was actually your real client verifying themselves here. And if we're doing a owner, for example, or we're not doing source of funds for a purchaser, that's the client journey completed. I don't know if you can see that. That took 3.5 minutes for this person to do all of that information. So we've done the full ID verification, biometrics, we've done the home address verification, and on top of that, we're also doing global PEPs and sanction searches and screenings there for you too, to take one extra thing away from you there. Now, before I move on to kind of the purchaser specific extra we can do, which is that source of funds that can be done standalone, as Madeline said, or done as part of this ID check as here, really important to highlight that at Thirdfort, we have a 20-strong team of support staff available in-house in our Manchester office. If your clients need any help doing this journey, they will come straight to us. We'll help them. Have a look at our Trustpilot scores if you want to see how high quality that service is. It's great, is the short answer. But it means that once you've set a checkup via Keyflow, it's set and forget for you until you've been alerted it's been completed. The client chasing and the client support will be handled by us at Thirdfort directly. So I'm just going to quickly whiz through now the source of funds element here too, because I'm conscious of time. I'm already taking too long. And we have two elements here. So the first part is a questionnaire. So the client is basically going to tell you where their money for their purchase is coming from. Obviously, a really important part of AML regulations nowadays. So this person's buying for £500,000, including stamp duty. They're going to need to account for every pound that goes into that. And I'll go through this properly on a one-to-one demo. Someone would like to see this in detail. But basically what we do, we give them various sources they can choose from to kind of build out their picture of their source of funds for you, and then actually tell you about where all this money is coming from for their purchase. On top of that, we're also going to get their bank statements from you if you want to do AML verification sort of analysis on those too. Again, an important part of HMRC regulations nowadays, and I'm sure probably FCA in the future too with that news this week. So there's two routes they can take here. They can either use open banking, which is very, very highly adopted nowadays. Takes a few seconds for them to share their full bank statements with you across 6 months through this route. This person's just doing 2 different bank accounts here in the bit I'm sort of whizzing through a little bit too quickly. Or alternatively, they can upload kind of PDF or scan in paper copies of their bank statements here as well. So both options are available. And then we'll also ask for some extra evidence on top of, the sources they've told you about through this journey, such as their pay slips or maybe evidence of mortgage or a mortgage in principle agreement they've got. So that's the client journey done. That took him 8.5 minutes to do everything here, basically. Source of funds journey 2. And I'll just do a very quick, if it's okay, Madeline, I'll do a very quick run through of just what this will then look like when it comes back to you and kind of what comes back part of the report that will sit within Keyflow for you.
Yeah, you've got plenty of time, actually. We've been speeding through this.
I'll slow right down there. So this is now a completed Thirdfort report. It's actually a PDF. So this is the output you're going to get after the client did all of that. Now, remember, the client has done that. You've not had to do anything besides set the check up. And if they needed help, our fantastic 5-star support team will have helped them directly without you even needing to have to know about it. And then you'll be alerted within Keyflow when the report is complete. So it is, again, repeat that phrase from earlier, set and forget. So what we have here is the client report. So remember, to set this up, the only information you needed to sort of have in Keyflow to initiate this was their first and last name, their phone number, and then the address of the property they are selling, leasing, or buying. Their date of birth, their middle names if they have any, their home address, their photographs, etc. That's all come through that journey we just saw them complete for you via Thirdfort. So all of that requirement is now gone away if you were manually getting those bits of information yourselves. And now we just have a simple run through of the results of all the things the client did for us in that sort of 9 minute journey within the app. So the first part, this just covers kind of the first 3.5 minutes we saw. This operates on a very simple traffic light system. So you've got green, orange, and red. And this is simply telling you, is the document, the ID document, so in this case the passport, but they can use other forms of ID too, photo ID, is the document legitimate? Were there any times of forgery or fraud? Are they the same person as in the document? Were they pretending to be an AI, or are they using a family member's ID or a stolen ID? And then did we get the Experian 2+2 match? And then were there any potential flags for not just PEPs and sanctions, but also regulatory enforcements and warnings and fitness and probity? And that goes all around the world. And it's also important to flag the ID verification works on ID documents all around the world, and the app can be used all around the world. So it's truly international. We are a UK company, but we work with many, many property firms with international client bases successfully to do exactly the same journey, whether their clients are in the UK or overseas. You'll also get a copy of the ID, so in this case, the passport, here, not blurry, a real actual copy of the ID, so you have it on file. And then again, if it's an owner or a non-source of funds journey, that is what we'll give you back. So pretty concise, but very, very detailed with lots of important information in it for you. Now, this is the bit I will still whiz through a little bit because there's a lot of detail here, but it's really good detail. So again, you want to do a proper demo? We'd love to do that if you have any questions on this. But now we go through the source of funds journey and sort of results for that purchaser. So kicking off with kind of a macro picture of their questionnaire. So this is what they've told you about where their money for their purchase is coming from. We'll then break down each of those sources with more information, both that they provided and they were prompted to provide while they're within our app. But we also start pulling through relevant information to help you match this up from their bank statement, so you don't have to jump around. I think this salary is the best example here. So here they've told you about their earnings, their employment situation at the top, and then underneath we've actually pulled through what looks like their salary payments arriving in their bank account across the last 6 months. We'll also do this little red flag summary, picking up common red flags we found, like the fact there's a giftor, so there might need to be some donor checks. They've done a large number of cash deposits. Other things we can pick up in the red flags are if they're receiving funds from high-risk overseas territories, if there's cryptocurrency involved. Obviously, that's often the red flag for some companies when I deal with them. But that's kind of the questionnaire element. And then the statements themselves does some further analysis for you too. So it gives you a breakdown, sort of again, a macro overview of their bank accounts over the last 6 months to see what's going on, to maybe quickly spot suspicious patterns. We've got the highest transactions that have gone in or out across that period highlighted underneath and also marked on the graph there for you. This trend section is saving our clients in particular a huge amount of time. For anyone who is doing manual source of funds reviews at the moment, I'm sure the phrase getting your highlighter pen out and going through will probably resonate. This is designed to cut as much of that out as possible. So this is just collating together similar style transactions like their largest outgoing recurrings across this period, like rent, utilities, Netflix, for very, very easy review without you having to go through manually to build this picture out yourselves. Does the same for outgoing one-offs, follows a similar pattern for incomings as well. So like their salary payment is obviously going to show up as their largest incoming recurrings, you'd like to think. Incoming one-offs, and also we'll pull together their largest cash deposits. And my final bit from me, after we do all this analysis, we'll then give you the 6 full months of bank statements too, broken down month by month for a much easier review. And then finally, after that, any of those additional documents we requested as part of that evidence gathering, such as their mortgage agreement or their pay slips, they'll then come through here for you to review as well. But I think that's kind of all I've got to show today. But again, would love to, I'll stick around for the rest of this webinar. I'll go backstage again, but be here to answer any questions. But we'll have to talk about this further with anyone who would like to look further. But yeah, Emma, back to you.
Amazing. I'll just say as well, before I hand back to Mads, it's worth having a look at the chat there, Rob, because loads of questions were coming in as you were going. I know the team backstage have been doing an amazing job answering them as we've been going, but yeah, really good to see how many questions come in and what people have and their ideas. And I would just say to everyone listening as well, if there's things that maybe aren't there yet that you want to see that there's a demand for, do put that in the chat as well, because we really do listen to everything that comes in, and we scope, you know, the future changes based on what you need and what's missing. So keep the comments coming in and keep the ideas coming in as well. But yeah, Matt, sorry, back to you.
With me, I'm just going to reshare again because I need to make sure that I am sharing everything, that we don't miss a single thing. So I just want to come back in quickly as well, because I did notice something populate in regards to those checks as well. So when you're requesting them through Alto, and obviously when it comes back as well, in the contact record under the compliance tab, that's where you can see the status of them as well. There is also still the option to do the smart search check as well, because I did see that come up in the Q&A. So I'm going to move on to the next part now as well. So we had a lot of demand for this. From the last webinar, people were asking us over and over again, you know, can we bring in the terms of business? Can we start to bring that in so we can have that coming through this process as well? We've done it. We bought it for you as well. So I'm going to quickly run through this. It's still kind of in a bit of a building phase as well. But if I click in here, so you can see it just goes through that full, easy, streamlined workflow for you. So in here, so it's under your post appraisal. You've got in here your templates. One thing that I really do need to highlight on this as well, it needs to be an ad hoc template that is set up in your system administration under your letters and stationery. If it's attached to an event, or if it's not an ad hoc template, it won't come up in here and it won't work. Okay, so what you would do is just search for your template that you would need. So I'm going to use this one. Okay, and you've got your contact options here. And if I click confirm, you can go in and you can change. So if there's two owners as well, if I click on confirm, what it's going to do is it's going to start you can generate the documents. Okay. And let me just save those changes, generate the document. Okay. This can take a bit of time to do. So what it does is it generates the document, and I'm just going to kind of talk over this as it's doing it as well. What will happen is it will generate the document, and then it will be there for you to review as well, and then sort of basically finalize it to get it sent to your owner of the property. And it is taking its time to do it this morning. Pretty standard for when you're demoing. There we go. So it's come through, and if we go to review, it will open up that document for you. Okay, mine's just completely blank. And if I finalize it, it's not going to let me finalize this one. Let me just go back into here. I think I just used the wrong document as well. You'll see here, it's come through and I can download it and it's been sent. What I'm going to do is take you to the customer journey of it now as well. So basically you would have finalized it, and then you would have an option here to send this out to the owner. They will then get, as I said before, they get these notifications coming through via email with your branding. So you can see the company logo will be at the top, to say that obviously they've got an essential document that needs to be signed. When they go into their key flow, because it will obviously prompt them to get into here, when they go into their key flow, they'll see here, so we've got the verification checks, which I went into, and that would take me through to Thirdfort. But if I go here, we'll see here we've got terms of business. Okay, so it's got here terms of business, outlines the details. So this is your template that you have set up and created, and it's got in here the terms of business, and it's basically all we have at the option at the moment is to agree or decline it. Okay, so it will then go through saying that obviously Harry read the document, terms of business, what the document is, and I'm just trying to scroll this down so we can see it. Let me just hide that. There we go. If we click yes, that will say then that is complete. Just want to highlight, and you can see here it says nicely done. That's them done, and it takes them back obviously to their properties that they have. You'll see if I go back to the actual relevant property that this one was linked to, so I can just go in here and see it's under London Road. We go into the terms of business. We can see that that's actually been completed. And again, it's going back up here into your client activity, and you can go in and you can select here, terms of business, apply, and then we can sort of see a list of these ones that have come in. Just to also highlight, it does populate obviously on the property record and the timeline as well when that task has been complete and the task has been sent. If I go back into this property now, so that is obviously the terms of business. So we can see here on the recent activity, yes, that's gone through, it's actioned, Sarah's done it, it's completed. So there's many different ways that you can see that these have been done. If I click back into here, it's taken us back into this workflow. So you can see all your pre-market, your post-appraisal, stuff has been done. So we can see that the terms of business has been done. You can actually go in and view that terms of business as well. We've instructed to have the ID checks done and when they're complete as well. So you can see the status on these are pending. If they were complete, they'll be complete. Your next section is your pre-marketing. A lot of you might have already seen quite a lot of this already. Because you might have seen it on training sessions, because it's obviously not as new. But you've got your property owner questionnaire. The big change to this is that from our last webinar, you reached out, a lot of you reached out, and you did say, obviously, there's more questions that we would need on this. You know, can we change this? Can it be customized as well? Again, we listened, we actioned, and you are able now to go in and select additional questions for your questionnaires. To do this, you would need to go into, it's gone, into here, into your key flow. Okay, so you'll be going into your admin side of it. And you can see here, you've got all these different sections, but what we're looking at is the pre-marketing, and you've got your questionnaire settings in here. And this is broken down between sales and lettings. So you can open this up, and it's broken down into the different sections of your attributes, your tenure and legal, utilities. It's got the essential questions there, but it's now giving you the option that you can go in and you can select extra questions that you might want to add to your particular questionnaire. So I'm just going to collect a couple in here, and you can save the changes. Okay. And then when you send that out, that's going to have your additional questions on it now as well. Okay. Like I said, you can go through tenure and legal as well. You can go for utilities, building safety. So there's extra options in there for you, and you can do this for your sales and your lettings questionnaires. I also just want to quickly highlight and jump back as well to the ID checks, because there was one other little thing to say, that this is also can be used for your landlords and your prospective tenants as well to do those smart checks as well. Okay, so going back in again, that questionnaire would have gone out. I'm really going to kind of sort of go a bit quicker over this next section, because this is something that we highlighted before. Just going to show you some changes that have been made. So now you can also go in and you can upload any of your documents into here, whether this would be your gas safety certificates, any kind of documents that are linked to your property. You can still go in, you can compile the listing. So you're back in here, you putting your photos in as well. So if I just quickly just show you a couple of bits just to here. Okay, I'm going to do this very quickly. And then you can put your floor plan in. And you can see here, you've still got your organising caption with AI. So all my pictures at the moment have got the word pexels on it. They've got numbers, so they don't really mean anything. But if I click upload, it will upload those in very, very quickly for you. Okay, so you've got your photos, you can rearrange them as you would normally do. And it's also recognised the floor plan. Okay, and just walking through this very quickly, you've got here, obviously, your property details. So again, this will open up and this will show you that questionnaire as well. So you're able to see this questionnaire. So when it comes back into your client activity, what you get back in is what your vendor has filled in or your landlord has filled in, and you can't edit anything or change anything on that. It's kind of like a good sort of overview and record for you to be able to see exactly the information that they provided. In here, if there is any discrepancies or there is anything different, this is where you can go in and update things and change them. Say, for example, they said they've got parking and they don't actually have parking. So obviously it's an essential thing to be able to advertise their property. Okay, I'm just going to add my council tax band in there because it won't let me publish anything unless I do. So you can go through, you can see all the questionnaire. It will have all your additional questions in there as well, the ones that you've chosen to kind of customize it and make it more of a feel for you and your agency. Okay. I've already got my summary and key points. So before, you could go in, obviously you can create this through AI, you can prompt AI. So you can go in here and say, if for example, this description's actually said nestled. So, and if I take it away, I can just sort of say, don't use nestled, and regenerate this again. Okay, and that will generate a new description without the word nestled in it as well. Again, you've got your long descriptions, you've got your rooms, so this is all still the same, and you can generate this with AI. So what it's going to do, it's going to read those photos that you've put in, pictures of those rooms, and it's going to generate those descriptions for you. And again, very, very quickly it does it, less than a minute as well. So you can see here, it's generated it. And if I had the correct floor plan, I'm just using one for training purposes, it would pull through my room sizes as well. Okay. Energy efficiency as well. You've got here, you can put if they're exempt, and you can even go onto the government website and look up to see if they have a valid certificate for this property as well. Okay. You've got your mapping, everything you need to save and close. You've got your mapping. I'm just going to put a rating in there because otherwise it will highlight that. You've got here, you've got your mapping. I can edit and I can go in and I can pinpoint to exactly where this is and then copy this to the street view as well. And it's not picking up anything on this address anyway, but it would, and it would bring it through from Google Maps. Okay. There we go. And then we've got, again, that option to be able to send that task over to them to approve the listing for you as well. Unfortunately, if you had 2 different owners at the moment, it has to be sent separately to the 2 separate owners. So you would have to send them the individual task to approve that listing. Again, if that's something that makes them a bit more life easier for you, that you could do it like both of them at once, please drop that in the chat, because as Emma said as well, and we are taking everything on that you are saying and feeding that back. You've got your prepare a brochure. You can copy from the listing. You can link your rooms with AI as well, so it's going to automatically recognize. Okay. And you can see that I've sent that task off, and again, they would have a notification for them to go and approve that listing. So they'll get an email come through. And they can also view their PDF brochure from here as well. This property is already set to available on my database, but down here, there would be a little box that would say update to portals, or push it through to the portals. And obviously it would be in here that you can go in and you can publish this to the portals. So that was kind of a very, very quick sort of overview of that side, because the main things that we really needed to highlight today was in regards to obviously the owner ID checks now, the ID checks and verification, and we also needed to really, really highlight the new e-sign that's come in for the terms of business, so you're able to kind of streamline that whole process together, and of course the updates and the changes to your questionnaire. Just really highlighting as well, all your is to really kind of be going in and checking this client activity to see the updates that have come in. You can obviously go in and you can contact them to say obviously you're waiting for it as well. But in this last kind of sort of 10 minutes, what I'm going to show you now is from the owner's viewpoint, from their portal, kind of like the next sort of steps in that. So when viewings go in, again, they will get an update notification to say that a viewing has been booked in their property. The same with an offer, if an offer has been accepted. And then now you can also select for them to be able to see the process of the sales progression. So it would just be the milestone that is hit. Again, this is controlled. You can go into the key flow. So if it's something that you don't want to use at the moment, you can obviously switch this on and off if you want to as well. But really, really recommend it, because again, it's keeping everything streamlined for you as well. So if I go into here, into the property, this is your owner's view as well. On the front page of here, we can see straight away that I've got this sales progression here. So it's the milestones that have been completed. You can go and you can learn more, but it's not telling you, it's not providing like the internal notes that you've put or anything on there. It's just simply that step of the progression is available to your seller. And also you can see, obviously it's their side of it for the progression, and then you can see what milestones have been hit for the buyer's side as well. Again, it's owner facing portal. You can also go in here, they're able to see the viewings, so they can see the viewings obviously that have taken place. You can see here, for example, Jane has done 2 visits. This is her second one. And you can see the past viewings. But on the applicant, for example, I can see that she's not made any offer. But then if I went into Morgan's, we can see that she's not made any offer as well. So it will tell you, show them what viewings have been taking place and the offers obviously that could have been made. But if we go up to here, we can see on here that it was a completely different person that has made an offer on this property, was Roxanne as well. So it's kind of like the updates and everything that's coming through. It will come through like the viewing. When a viewing has been booked, it will go through to the owner of the property to say that the viewing has been booked. And it will also give the information. So like if it's a unaccompanied viewing or if it's accompanied as well, the time and everything. And even if the viewing appointment gets updated or changed, it will then also send them an updated email. The same with offers and the same with the sales progression. They will be updated via email in regards to each step of the sales progression that has happened. I think that is pretty much me covered on this side of it. It's quite a lot to get through. We can have a quick look, I suppose, Emma, if there's any questions that are in that side of it as well.
There's a lot. There are a lot of questions have come through, which is amazing to see. One that I just did pull out because actually it's come up a couple of times is people were asking about training and one-to-one demos. So as our software trainer, you'd probably be the best person to answer that.
Yeah, so I think what we kind of like we're thinking about in regards to this as well is people that, you know, if you are going to want sort of further sort of training on it, we can go through it at a slower pace for you as well, because obviously you have to understand we're going at quite a lot of content to squeeze into a small amount of time. But yes, that is happy enough. We can do that. There is a survey that will come up, hopefully will come up at the end of this webinar for you to put in there whether you would request further training on Keyflow as well. Also, I have noticed one in regards to how do they see the feedback. This works exactly the same as before. They're only going to see feedback if you physically send, if you know, in that sort of viewing card record that you submit that feedback. They're not going to see anything until you submit it. Is there anything else, Emma, that you think that's quite a good one to pull out?
I was just I saw that a question came through just about just on this process of being able to add in bespoke questions into the property questionnaire. There's not a field for bespoke questions, is there? But there's over 300, I think it was, questions that you can choose from.
So between 250 and 300, but there is obviously we've added all extra. We've taken on, as we said before, from the last webinar, wasn't it? We had quite a lot of feedback on that. They were asking for different types of questions to be in there, and this is what we've done now. There are the essential questions in there still, but you've got that opportunity in this area that you can change it. And like I said, you can have it a separate one for your sales and your separate one for your lettings as well.
Yeah, I've just seen a question come in saying, is the point of the changes to remove our need as an agent? Seems to be heading towards us being an online agent. It's not that at all. It's purely to streamline the processes that take the most time, that actually could be a quick job. And it just frees up that time for you to then be focusing on the other stuff, the stuff that really matters, going out, doing your appointments, doing your viewings, booking your, booking market appraisals, planning for that stuff. It's purely to speed up the admin. It's that almost like using AI ethically in a way that is going to boost you rather than replace you. And that's the focus, really, is to just make all the jobs that can take a bit of time speed up and be a bit faster for you. Sorry, Madeline, come on.
Yeah, just saying the other thing as well, which I say probably pretty much every day to agencies as well, is like when you're kind of looking back and you're looking at the core version, you're sort of previously you were going into multiple separate tabs to kind of go and update everything. The reason why this is kind of also being put together is that, like you've said, Emma, is that streamlined process. You're pretty much working from one page. You're in this one page and you're going through the steps this way, especially the market, or sorry, the pre-marketing side of it. Normally in the core version, you're uploading media, you're putting summaries in, you've got everything in one single area. And probably most of you do use ChatGPT to help you create your summaries at the moment. The AI is built into this, and it, as you saw, if I was demoing it again, it normally takes less than 30 seconds, and you can edit it if you need to change it as well.
Yeah, I think the description element amazed me when I first saw it, because I used to be an agent, and that the time that it would take to type up a narrative about a property and being able to do that really quickly. There's a lot of talk on it, and I guess it's the way you want to work within your business. We're trying to streamline things, and obviously tech is getting more and more advanced as time goes on, and you can sort of lean into it or push against it. And I think the ability to speed up the processes, I mean, I saw a comment just then that it might mean that admin assistants have less to do potentially, but also you could repurpose them into doing something different, get them out touting, get them out, doing other things that can also benefit you as a business, rather than taking the same role and then spending it on time that could otherwise be sped up. So it's all about how you use it. But the fact that we're putting it there as an option for you, if you wanted to then have it as a sped up process, it's there and it's ready to go. And Mads is so right. The old process was, you almost had to remember where to go, because there was a lot of tabs and a lot of, you had to go along the top tabs, along the side tabs. And now it is all in one place, and it's taking you through from start to finish, so you don't miss anything either, which is so important when you're getting for viewings and things like that. If there's not enough information for your agents, then it's not putting you in the best position. I did actually pull out a couple of questions as we were going that were being answered, but it's just so that they were quite big questions, so it's just to make sure everyone's seen them as well. So we had, what about if we use a different AML provider? Is there an option to upload reports from another provider? And the answer was yes, you can upload the documents manually to the contact document, so don't worry about that if you use a different one. Also, the costs of it, the cost is £7 per person checked, and £7 per transaction for source of funds. There's no contract, there's no minimum commitment. You can just activate it in Alto, and we'll bill you based on the completed checks carried out by Thirdfort. Just so you know that as well. We've also got, there was a question, in fact there was a couple of questions about older customers and if they're unable to use the app. I know Dan backstage shared a really good link just on a guide about older customers, so I will just reshare that in the chat now. And we also had, do AML checks cover PEP screening? And the answer was yes, they do. So that was just a couple that we've pulled out. I'm not going to answer the questions, as I'm not the expert, so I don't think it would be the best place for me to be in. But what we will do is compile a whole list of all the questions that have come in. We're going to put together a question and answer sheet for everyone to see. So if you're on the call, you'll see the question and answer sheet, and that way we can just give you the full information up front and everyone's got access to it, and we won't miss any questions then. So I think that's probably the best route to go down.
Sorry, I just to highlight one thing as well. I know the panic comes in as well sometimes when you obviously you see that workflow, you're thinking, oh, have I got to go through all these processes to be able to work through it? No, you can bypass areas as well. So if you don't want to send the questionnaire out, you don't have to. You can go straight to the manage the listing and getting the media together. But what we're trying to do is kind of get things more easier and streamlined for you. Back to you, Emma. Sorry.
No, I did also shout out a minute ago in the chat, if you would be interested in a demo, I know we're going to ask you the survey anyway, but if you are interested in a demo of either Keyflow or Thirdfort, put in the chat either Keyflow or Thirdfort, and then we won't miss it, and it's definitely there, and we can get in touch with you separately. Just before we wrap up, because we've only got a minute left, I will just share our partner of the month this month, just to call out, I guess it leans into that similar aspect, Bridge AI. They're a fantastic integration. I actually did a webinar with them a couple of weeks ago, and they focus on, they're basically on automated, they're covering your inbox for you, and they're dealing with leads automatically 24/7. So throughout the night, if a viewing inquiry comes in, they're dealing with it for you and they're getting it booked, and then they're getting in contact with you. And so your customers are getting answers immediately. You know, imagine if you're sort of sat at home looking for properties and you see something you really like and you send off an inquiry, and then minutes later it's booked in and you've got a viewing. They are such a great company. If you want any more information on Bridge AI, because I'm going to skim through this because I don't want to keep you here all day, do let us know in the chat as well. Or if you head to our on Alto, you can actually see all of our integrations via the tools section. Drop down, that's the help button, tools, and then integrations at the top. You can browse all of them there, but it's really worth checking them out. We've already done our Q&A, so I'll skip through that. Just to shout out about Alto Skills, you now have single sign-on, so you don't have to sign up for Alto Skills separately. You can access it by going to Alto, by the help section, and Alto Skills. This has been compiled with loads and loads and loads and loads of content that my team works on. Any process you get stuck on, go on there, have a look, and you should be able to have an exact demo on how to use it. So please remember that you've got that. You've also got your help centre as well, which is full of loads of helpful articles there too. We have already briefly covered bespoke training, but you can book one-to-one sessions. If you scan that QR code or get in contact with us, you can book a one-to-one there too. Obviously this will be sent out via a recording of this, so you can see this anyway and have a bit longer to actually scan the code or get in contact with us. And finally, just before we leave, because I know that we've now kept you a minute or two over, if you scan this QR code here and leave us feedback, and I'll leave this up on screen, you'll be entered into our competition to win an Alto Elite trainer session. So it's exactly what you were asking for, the one-to-one sessions on this. It's worth £264, this one, because it's a really top tier training session. So please do scan the code, give us a feedback, good or bad, hopefully good. And we want to hear your thoughts and how it's been for you. So yeah, please do scan that. And otherwise, we will let you go unless Matt's got anything to add.
I've just launched the survey as well in there that gives us like a 1 to 5 star rating for today. Also, it will help us sort of capture if you know, we have asked you to put it in the chat, but it will also help capture in regards to, obviously, if you want anything about Bridge AI or Keyflow as well. So it's just like a quick survey that we would love for you to fill in and just give our feedback, because we love getting the feedback. Hopefully it's come up. I don't know if anyone could give me a yes, because I can't see it on my side, but it says it has come up. So it has been posted. Has it come up?
But if not, we'll work around it afterwards.
It's there, yeah. We can't see it on our side, but it has come through. Brilliant, thank you so much. So I think
Olivia said, is there an email I can email, because I've not had the questions that have not been answered. If you add in questions or even respond to the email we send you out, we can answer them for you. We want to make sure everyone's got as much information as possible on this and nothing's been missed. So
we've got everything, haven't we? So we'll be collating it all anyway and bringing it out to everybody from who's attended the webinar today.
But thank you very much, everyone. Have a fantastic rest of your day, and thank you so much for joining. Thank you to our speakers and our team backstage as well. Thank you very much, Rob from Thirdfort, for doing the demo, and to our lovely Alto experts who've been answering all your questions.
Thank you, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.